convinced me to do it because I really didn't want to do this either. What's up, everyone? So, special guest today. I'm not going to go into all of the details of his life. I actually appreciate him coming on this channel to kind of explain his story and his path and what he's gone through. But like I said, as the more personal it gets, it's up to him. If he wants to stop, he gets to stop. So he actually kind of convinced me to do it because I really didn't want to do this either. The truth of the matter is I've been coaching him for a while. You've heard it on some of my episodes. But when it comes to drug addiction, the guy who was fighting the drug addiction, this is that guy, right?
How's it going?
So do you want to use your real name?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. His real name, Josh. So I've been coaching with him for, I think, almost 8 months?
8
7,
months, probably.
7, 8
7,
months.
8 months, yeah.
So we've been going through this process for a little over 7 months. And he's been doing an amazing job. You know, he's gone through the struggles. And I want to use his struggle to empower other people to realize that they can get through it too. And so, can you kind of explain where you were, how you got to where you were? Yeah, there's going to be some. Also, I want to give a warning. There's probably going to be some laughing, some cussing, I'm going to allow Josh to be as raw as he wants to be. So, and Josh is a really real guy. That's actually why I really like the guy. You know, he just tells it how it is. So,
well, I originally met Cliff training. You know, I've been on and off of hardcore drug addiction for about 17 years on crystal meth, heroin, pretty much anything you can name. And we started working together about 8 months ago, pretty hardcore. I was in like the pits of my addiction at that point. He would actually come and get me out of bed, you know, because I wouldn't want to move. He'd be like, come on, we're going for a walk today. You're doing a walk today. We're going to do a walk. I'm like, oh, I can't move, you know. And it was just, I was stuck in a depression and in I don't know the right word, like a threshold of my own mind. I couldn't get out of it. I was stuck in it. He pulled me out of it slowly. We kept going. You know, there was a couple bumps in the road, but he told me there was going to be bumps in the road. But the whole thing was empowering myself, him empowering me and me empowering myself. You know, but then I try to give him credit and he won't take any. So, but it
was him.
Yeah. So, you know, it's been a long road. I'm doing good. I'm going on 5 months sober. Everything's going really good. You know, today I was having a rough day and he came in and I was having a really rough day, you know, and he, I don't know, once I met up with Cliff, everything started going good again.
Yeah, the big thing is when you're dealing with a coach, so a coach can empower a person to do things they didn't realize that they could do on their own. And I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. But at the end of the day, we have all these voices in our head. And we have some voices telling us that we can do certain things. And we have certain voices telling us that we can't do certain things. And sometimes people's voices that tell you that you can't are screaming so loud, you can't hear those empowering voices to get out of your own way. And so you get into this spiral and you think that there's no way out. Like you get to a point where you're like, why do I even try? Like as a coach, that's what I see a lot with not just Josh's particular case, but in a lot of cases, surprisingly, is just we get so used to living by society standards. And when we play by a certain rule and live by those standards, like if a person's living in a 5, they're not the 5 that they live in. That's just the habit they've created for themselves. But that does not mean they cannot live a 10 life. But to live a 10 life, you have to give 10 action. That's what it comes down to. And so even through his process, yeah, if you ever want to interrupt.
That's why I got it. Okay, so here's another thing going along with what he's saying right now is I'm a convicted felon. I've been to prison. And I look down on myself a lot, you know, like even trying to go get jobs or anything, or, you know, when you're in the midst of an addiction, you feel like you're like, I'm a drug addict. That's what I am, you know? And Cliff was always like, that's what you were, dude. That was, and like he would do it soon. That was 5 days ago. That was 10 days ago. Now you're walking towards the light. That was our huge thing, is going from the darkness to the light. You know, I was in the dark, so as long as you're making little steps, and this is all his words, but this is what I use in my everyday life.
Oh, yeah.
It goes from like you're going from the darkness to the light, even if you're taking small, gradual steps. You know, as long as you're moving forward, it's okay. So you got to focus on the positive, and that's basically what we focus on a lot is just moving forward, you know, even when I'm having a rough day, like today has been a pretty rough day, until we hung out, we went and got some pizza and stuff, and talked for a while, but everything's looking on the up and up, and yeah, I'm an addict, but I'm not a drug addict today, so that's the difference, you know, and it incorporates that, like, you know, I've done AA and stuff like that. It didn't really work for me. And it works for a lot of people, but it didn't really work for me. So I needed something different, you know, and this was it. It was more like in AA, they tell you you're an addict. You are an addict. Every day I'm Josh and I'm an addict. And I don't know why, but that with Cliff, it's not like that. It's not, hey, Cliff, what's up, man? Hey, Cliff, I'm an addict. How's it going, man? Like, it's not, we don't do that stuff over here. So everything's been going great. Everything's been moving forward. You have your ups and downs, but you know, me and Cliff talk pretty regularly. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, too, there were two things that I specifically did before I took you on as a client, and one, like I already told you this. I told him this when he was a little more free and clear, but a lot of people didn't want me to even take this case on because it's a tough case, and I didn't even realize how tough of a case it was until I started doing my research on it. You know, it's one of the hardest cases you can get. Meth addiction is no joke. It's hard stuff.
Yeah.
But like I say, and I say it over and over again, that's where movies are made. Yeah. Movies are not made about just having a great time the entire time. Movies are made where you have struggle, where you have grind, and you don't know if you're going to make it out, and you found out making it out, and you see the light. You see something that you didn't even know you had in you. That's what it comes down to. And the other thing, I see, you don't even know this part. I planned some more before I got ready. Like, I talked to other people who had dealt with addiction. You know, the things that I tell people on my channel are the things that I follow as well. And so when it comes to having a specific plan, I had a very specific plan on how I was going to get him out of this mess. And I was going to give him 100%, hoping he would give me 100% as well. The one thing that I know, I keep cutting you off, but
no, it's okay.
The one thing I have going for me is when I give 100%, people tend to give 100% back. I've always had that work for me.
And another thing that I want to say is, like he was saying, you know, until you figure out you can do great things. Throughout the process that we've been going through, it's hard to find out, you know, when you're down the dumps, like if you've never done meth or hard drugs, there's a certain window you have to pass, and he was there every step of the way through that window with me, you know, until I started noticing little good things, and he was pointing out little good things and motivating me and just sending positive vibes this way, you know what I mean? So he broke me through that window that you needed to be broke, you know, that I needed to get through. And once I was there, now things are starting to really really move forward, you know. It took a couple months. I mean, every day was getting better, okay, but you still feel like you're just like here instead of here, you know, like a normal person's here. You still feel like you're here when you first quit. So he got me to about right here, and then he got me to about right here, and then slowly I'm starting to get myself, with his help, still to about right here, you know. So I feel better than I've ever been. You know, I'm happy, healthy. My kids are happy. Just got a new place, you know. We're actually in it right now. I have a sheet on the window because the sun was going through. I haven't gotten curtains yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a really big part in that too is going through those bumps, like those hard times.
Yeah.
And this is important, and this is for everyone. This is problems big and small. It's just like having that undeniable faith.
Yep.
That undeniable, I know this is going to work. How? When? Why? I just know. And that's it. Like sometimes that's all you're given. When the chips are down and you have absolutely nothing left, I don't think people realize how empowering faith really is. And a lot of my clients do well because I see past the problem. The problem's only a piece. Your spirit's strong though. Like the human spirit, you can't beat that. Yeah. And I mean, you've seen me around. You've seen how I conversate with other people. I'm kind of like that with everybody. Like I believe in people, and it's funny because you'll see even most of the so-called scumbaggiest people rise above. They'll try. They'll actually try in life. Yeah. You know, it's like because you see something different in them. Yeah. And when you see it, it makes them almost believe in themselves again. Like, I mean, that's what I'm about. Like, I've seen some of you.
So here's one thing. I'll be like, sometimes I'll be like, oh man, that dude's a piece of shit or something like that. Excuse my language.
I already want the cussing.
You want. All right. So like then Cliff will be like, no, they're just broken right now. They can be built back up. I'm like, bro. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, stop. But he's just like determined. He just keeps going, you know. Yeah. You know, I feel emotional right now. It's definitely a good thing. Things are going good. God, God blessed me with Cliff. So, things are going good. Yeah. You know, I can't complain. You know, there's no.
And another big part too, because I want to use this. You bagging on a person, right? Yeah. And then I won't bag on them. But at the same time, it is about taking responsibility for yourself. Yeah. Taking responsibility for your life. I'm not telling a person to hang out with someone like that. I'm not telling a person, I'm just saying they have capability in them. They have something special in them. Yeah. And it's up to them to see if they're going to do something with it or not. And knowing that it's there, it just empowers them to want to do something. That's all that it does. I've dealt with this a couple times, even with Josh. Josh will introduce me to certain people like, Cliff, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. Like, and it ends up becoming something different because I don't. Have you ever heard the term like, don't judge a person? Right? Yeah. They say don't judge people. I judge people. I do. Because I think this is a problem that people have is they say, I try not to judge. And that's the issue. Judge the action. There are incorrect actions. There are absolutely incorrect actions. The spirit is what is infinitely strong though. And so when people are around me enough and they hear what I speak about, that's when they start to get it. My wife has been married to me for a little over 12 years and she tries to figure me out still. But she knows that I'm about bringing people up. Like that's what it comes down to. And so at the end of the day, you can judge people for incorrect action. You judge the incorrect action as in the action is incorrect, but I still know there's something special in you. When Josh had his bumps in the road, because like you said, he had them. I didn't pretend like they weren't there.
They were bad.
Yeah, I didn't pretend like it wasn't there. I didn't pretend like, oh, whatever, John. Like, no, that was fucked up, dude. but I know you can do better.
Yeah.
I love you. That was fucked up, and I know you can do better. And those are the parts that people have to get through.
Yeah.
Like that's that. Like the one thing I'll ask you: did you ever feel unloved in this journey?
No.
The love was always there.
The momentum kept going forward too. That was like huge, like a big word. I told him he should name his thing momentum.
Yeah.
But because it was like always taking my momentum forward.
Yeah.
And he said that it doesn't always work like that. You can go forward, but you can go backwards. But you got to get back right on the horse.
Yeah,
so that's where moving. I think for like the addict, at least for addiction, this is going to be really helpful with Cliff there, because when you're trying to get clean, you're constantly going about this far forward, and then you might go 10 steps backwards, and then this far forward, and then you might come up to here one day. So it's on a graph. It's a crazy graph. You never know what the graph's going to be there. So that's why it helps, Like I said, I'm not bashing AA. It works for a lot of people. I don't want to bash it at all. But it's not for everybody. And sometimes you need somebody there 24/7. And yeah, you have a sponsor, but the sponsors work. This is Cliff's job. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, all right, like, I'm just going to hit up Cliff. Like, this is what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, definitely different things work for different people. And the biggest thing I've always had going for me is giving 100% to people. That's the one thing that I know that I can give. I can always give 100%. And when I give 100%, good things happen. It always happens that way. I've never had a client say, you screwed me over because of such and such. And if you feel like, honestly, with my clients, they feel comfortable with me, as they should. Like, I expect high levels from them, so they should expect high levels from me as well. It is a give and take. It goes both ways. And with Josh, I would text you, I would call you, I would stay on top of you, I would send him things, I would have him read, I would have him write down his plan. It's not like I said, this wasn't an easy task. This is hard stuff. I didn't realize how hard it was. On a dopamine scale, on a sex for the dopamine scale is 100%. Meth is like 1,200%. 12 times that of sex. So, yeah, I know. I was looking at it like, damn, I really took on a freaking challenge over there. And so, yeah. But it was a challenge that I wanted to take. I want to take on even bigger challenges. And so when it comes down to it, when it comes down to coaching people and putting people in the direction that they need to be put into, bring the challenge, because I feel that I have the capability to make you realize you have the capability. That's really what it comes down to. I just push you to your greatness.
And this is something he likes to do in everything, fighting.
I am kind of that
everything.
Way. Yeah, I'm competitive.
Like he's he don't really boast much, but he's fought the best in the world.
Yeah.
Literally.
So. I mean, I'm definitely competitive, or even with bringing that up, I'll say we were actually having an interesting conversation, and he said one problem with drugs is when you get to that place where you have like this cockiness, like you can't be touched.
Yeah, like confidence.
Yeah,
like
you're just like
comes back. Yeah. Forget about the past.
And I go like, confidence is important. Cockiness and arrogance is dangerous.
Yeah.
But when you're confident and you're humble in your confidence, that's huge. See, being humble in your confidence means you are capable, but also being realistic enough to avoid certain things, not leave it up to willpower alone. The very best athletes don't leave it up to their athletic talents alone. They don't leave anything to chance. They work hard, they train hard, they eat right, they sleep right, they do all the things that they need to do to get their bodies prepared and ready, because they know they're human just like anybody else. And that's where that humbleness comes in. But when you get so arrogant and cocky and you feel like your crap doesn't stink anymore, that's when you get in trouble. Because that's when you start missing days in the gym. That's when you eat a little bit more. That's when you're like, I'm the guy anyway, or I'm the woman anyway. And that's where you get in trouble. So when you reversing it and going on a humble warrior-like consistent movement of healthy habits. It really comes down to the habits at the end of the day. The people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that's
Like, that was one of the biggest things.
what we were
That-
talking about today too.
The people you surround
Yeah.
yourself with. I don't think people realize how important that step is.
Yeah.
Especially when they're not, it's hard to realize it when you don't know anything different. Because when you start hanging around different people, that's when you start realizing like, wow, this feels a little bit different, you know? And so when you're dealing with people in a growth mindset who want to move, who want to grow, who want to constantly get better, but you haven't been used to that, it's like, what the heck? I thought the world was different than what it was. You know, I thought it was just me by myself figuring it out and us just doing stupid crap.
And it's funny, like, I want to say something too, like the more that we've hung out, the better people I've been introduced to. And even without Cliff, just the better I'm doing, there is a hope, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to get past the darkness. You got to get through that window. Super important. You know, like today I was struggling because, you know, I have, you know, almost 5 months, but that's not that much time. So but it's a good chunk. So, I was struggling just with everyday life. I'm like getting overwhelmed. You know, I got my own place. I have my kids, and Cliff's like, man, he's like, you got to look at it differently. And we talked about that. Like, look at it differently. This is a wrestling match. This is every day in life is going to be tough. You're going to have battles, but it's the way you look at things is how it's going to be dealt with, and how your outlook on it is everything.
Yeah, perception's key. Yeah, perception's key. And then the big thing is not only perception itself, but practice perception. Because even when you know what the right things to do are, there's moments like, I actually had one client tell me this. So she goes, would you really appreciate a caterpillar turning to a butterfly if it just happened instantly? It's a process. You know what I mean? Like, it's right?
Yeah.
So it's a process. So things have a process behind them. It's not that you can't start that process right away. The process starts right away. And honestly, a lot of this stuff isn't as brutal as we make it out to be. It's like, I'll give you a perfect example. You know, I'm actually going to talk to Josh about this, and I guarantee he's going to agree with all of this. Not because I just said this on camera, but because I just like, be open and honest with me. Watch. Right. But I'm telling you, watch. All right. So when you have an injury, does it feel like forever when you have an injury? Does 2 weeks, 3 weeks feel like an eternity?
Yes.
Okay. Does it really? Be honest.
It depends.
Okay, that's cool. Okay,
so I'll say if you're
a bad
sitting
injury,
out of wrestling, a bad injury, yeah, it feels a pretty long time.
Okay,
yeah.
So a bad injury, why does it feel so long to you?
Because it hurts.
Because it hurts? Are you thinking about the injury?
Yeah, and thinking about the future and all sorts of stuff.
Thinking about the okay, really, all right,
man.
See, and this is the thing. So it's about people get a little bit reactive when they have those injuries. So instead of thinking about, all right, how do I proactive? How do I get this better? What do I do? What do I maintain? What do I do consistently? And realizing it probably won't take as long as you think it's going to take. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I've seen this happen consistently. This happens in fighting all the time too. You'll see someone get injured and then they'll just be like, crap. Now I can't do this. Now I can't do that. Now I can't do... Well, what can you do? Focus on what you can do. See, sometimes it does that. It blurs out like that. Focus on what you can do, not what you can't do. And time starts speeding up again because you feel like you're moving into something. And that's where people get in trouble sometimes, is just the second you start going into that mindset of I can't. Is that, well, what can you do? Sometimes that will actually change a person's entire mindset on it. Just like, oh, well, I can do this and I can do that and I do have this. And that's where it starts. Sometimes people need a Kickstarter. Like, have that ever happened to you? Actually, I know for a fact it's happened to him.
Yeah.
I just decided to ask that question. But,
No, it's happened. No, it's happened, but it's like happened in more than one way. I mean, I had an injury, but also, like, I can't was like one of my normal things of vocabulary. I can't. I'm a felon. I can't do this. I can't. I'm a drug addict. No, you can. You can. He said, you're just choosing not to right now. You're just not. Your mind's in the darkness. It's not in the light. You can do all these things. The willpower, the spirit of a human being is very strong.
Yeah.
So that right there, your mind might be telling you can't for a while, and it will tell you can't.
You'll have moments.
Proof. I don't know if you guys saw my picture. Did you put that picture up there? No.
I'll put it up later though.
Well, I mean, look at so right here I have cheeks, and I have I got some muscles. I didn't have those in those pictures. I was about 165 pounds. You guys won't even recognize me probably, honestly, right?
Yeah, you look quite a bit different.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't then in my mind. I couldn't.
Yeah.
There was no hope. I was trying to kill myself with drugs, basically.
Yeah.
Literally kill myself with drugs. Like I was trying to do so much meth. I was intravenously using it. I was smoking it. I was snorting it. I was eating it. I was doing every single thing you could do to kill yourself without putting a rope around your neck or something, or a gun to your head.
Yeah.
And I just didn't care, so because I couldn't, in my mind. Then me and Cliff started working together, and all of a sudden, it's crazy. And this is what he talks about a lot: is like the power of, and the power of your mind. Like how freaking strong your mind is. So I'm trying not to cuss.
Yeah.
So like how freaking strong your mind is, and sometimes people need a little bit of help to be pulled out of that, and I've been to rehabs, I've been to everything, I've been to every form of counseling. It didn't do shit for me.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't forget some things, but when you get to work one-on-one and communicate, and you have an hour to look forward to during the day, that makes a huge difference. When that hour you focus and you actually learn something. It's directed towards you. So
the crazy thing, even with what you said, is like to get help, right? So what I'm about is really just having people put on their armor, and it's gut check time, and it's time to do great things. And it's time to to fast forward your life so that you have more life to live. A lot of times, specifically with meth addiction, like I said, I did my research. And consistently, not always, but some people, they end up getting off of it, but it's almost like they've done so much damage. They're like 50, 60, 65 years old at that time. And it's really because they were finally just done. But we can do it as a team. Like, that's what it is. Like, you can help people faster with teamwork. That's what it comes down to. And that's why every time I spread a message, it's about give your best, give your all to an individual. And I can't just say it, I have to do it myself. And so the ability for me to do it myself, so they can see me actually do it, makes them more inclined to do it for other people. Like, we're all in this together at the end of the day. This is what it really comes down to. I feel like to leave a legacy, you have to work and help people and do your best to make people better versions, to make them do their best. Because there's not a better feeling than that. And the funny thing is, I'm actually getting ready to do a podcast with another guy, and we're going to talk about purpose. I swear we all have the same purpose, helping people. I swear it's like 99% of the time people want to help people. And sometimes it starts with helping you first. We actually had that conversation.
Yeah.
Because he loves helping people. This is a good dude. But he hadn't even finished helping himself yet. And we had that conversation. Yeah. I go, dude, you got to finish your process before you go out helping people with their process. You're not even in your light place yet. Focus on doing that first. Yeah, I remember that one. I was smacking him upside his head.
Yeah. There were some times, he was like, what are you doing? You know? Why?
Yeah.
You know, because I was trying to help people and I wasn't ready, and he told me I wasn't, and you know, that was one of my bumps in the road. That was a while back, and I started listening to him, and then everything started being okay. It's weird how it works.
Yeah. Don't worry, I get it all the time. Like that's the funny thing is when people go through the process, right? And there's a lovingness in the process, there's a tough love in the process, and there's the process of people getting out of their own way sometimes. Like the more a person gets out of their own way and listens to the things that they need to listen to, the better off things become. And it's not to say that there aren't tough times, because there's supposed to be tough times. But the truth of the matter is, as human beings, we embrace the tough times. We're built for that. We just have to create the habit to remember that we're built for it. We're built for tough times and to persevere and get stronger no matter what. You know, we got the ability to do unstoppable things. That's what it always comes down to. You know, and it's his story, and he actually referred another client to me, and she's an absolute sweetheart, and she's crushing it. And there's a couple other clients that I have that, honestly, all of my clients are really crushing it right now. Like, that's the thing is, once they get out of their own way, once they understand their patterns, and once they start saying consistent, once they start really, really actually you know, it's almost like a seriousness behind it, like even writing down what you're supposed to do. And it's those small little detailed things that people wouldn't think any big deal of. I'm like, did you write it down? Well, no, it's in my head. Like anyone can put anything in their head. Like it's just like, well, that's easy to do. Why are you still where you're at? Like I have the difficult conversations with people sometimes. And sometimes they don't like it. They do not like those buttons being pushed. But I know they're going to like it in the end.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be like, you know, that's what I needed. And the cool thing is, I come from a place of love always. Like, I come from a place of love, and that's kind of probably why I get away with some of the crap I said, because I can get pretty intense sometimes. You know, I push hot buttons. Yeah. I do push hot buttons. Because I think hot buttons need to be pushed.
Not too bad though.
Yeah, I don't crush it. Like, you're hot button. Like, but I'm gonna push the hot buttons. And the funny thing is, I've always been that way. I do it with my parents too. You know, my dad was pre-diabetic, and me and him had a discussion. And I'm gonna call people on their stuff. I'm always gonna call people on their stuff. So if you're not ready, don't come see me, because I'm going to tell you the truth.
That is true.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to move you in the direction that you feel you need to move into. And if you're not ready to move into it, I'm going to tell you the excuses that you're making, because that's, at the end of the day, that's all it is an excuse. People make excuses to why they can't do things instead of why they can do things. It goes back to the injuries. I can't. I have this problem. It's too far. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I'm not in the right position. When my life gets a little bit easier, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's start talking about what we can do instead of what we can't do, even if it is one thing. Can you do one squat? Can you do one squat? Because what I attack the mind, the body, and the spirit. I'm not just going to attack one piece. You know, like me, we got into exercise. We got into mental training.
Yeah, we got into
we got into all that, everything.
But you know, there are some things with the exercise. You know, goes perfect along with what you're just saying. Mm-hmm. Like where I was like, oh man, I can't breathe. He's like, what are you doing? Come on, get up there. You know, like
yeah.
And it's the same way with the mental thing. I mean, that mental thing just not making me go. You know, I don't feel like I'm gonna pass out, but
yeah.
You know, but
yeah, I won't do it to the point like he's like we need the AED. Like
no, not pass out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it tests you in ways that you didn't even know you could do.
Yeah.
Because like that, and that happens so consistently, is when people get tested, they wouldn't be where they were if they were testing themselves correctly. I'll say it that way. If they were testing themselves correctly, they wouldn't be in the mess that they're in. And that's why, like, when I come in, I come to clean it up and make it better and challenge them. It's a healthy challenge. It's a challenge they're going to survive. They're going to wake up the next day and they're going to be perfectly fine. And they're going to be glad that they did it.
It's not like a boot camp challenge. It's like,
yeah, it's not insane.
It's not insane.
Yeah.
It's intense, but it's...
Yeah. I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not a nut who's gonna just like, oh, you can do this because I was an MMA professional fighter and I did this. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
No,
but I'm gonna push you to a limit that you didn't know you could quite do. But you're gonna feel accomplished when you do get past that. It's funny because I actually build a base for people first. So there's a time for the fight or flight, but we got to build a base before we get to the fight or flight moment. You know,
best way I could put it is like kind of slowly, slowly moving you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
At a good pace, but not overly.
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting everything right. When
you get in shape, if you're trying to physical train with them, expect that.
Yeah. I haven't had anyone say, man, Cliff, I wish I didn't go through all of that intensity. Everybody appreciates the ride at the end of the day because it's a combination of happiness and finding that success and putting the two together. Like, so part of the, like, when I talk to you, right, happiness is inwardly. There's nothing outside where you can say, if I touch this, I'll feel happy. The success is over there, though. The happiness is inside. The success is something that can touch, something that's concrete. And when you have both that, like, that's where the excitement's at. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're happy and you have the success, that's where the excitement lies. And you're just like, this is awesome. I want to do that again. Yeah. And then you just go about it again, and you go about it again. So we're going to keep holding this process down. So hope you guys enjoyed that. You know, thanks for being on, Josh.
Good, thanks.
And you officially got to meet him. I'm the thumbs up guy because that's how I roll. I don't know what Josh is going to do. Josh is going to do thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a good one.
All right. Thanks, guys.